Hello again. Assalamu alaikum, because I changed just the network just to make sure that the connectivity is better than before. So, if anybody here in the live, just to confirm me that hello everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Please just confirm that my voice is clear. Just waiting Miss Soraya again to come across, stepping in live on Instagram, and we'll start chatting. Talking about personal branding, what's personal branding, and why we care about personal branding and its an effect in individual level or corporate level. Yes, she's again here. Okay, good. Because I just changed my. Thank you. I just changed the network. I think it will be better now. Welcome, Soraya. She's there. Okay, thank you. Thank you for attending. And
Hi,
hi,
Jaafar.
Soraya. Hi,
Now
hi.
it's
How are you?
working. I'm
Okay,
good.
perfect. So we will do it as follow, because now we are late for 6 minutes, I think.
Okay.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. What we will do, first of all, if you a little bit about who's Soraya, okay,
Okay.
for within 2 minutes. After that, I
Okay.
have a lot of questions, and after I finish my question, it will be floor for the audience if they have anybody have questions or comments or suggestions. Okay.
All right.
Shall we start? Yeah, please go
Yes.
go ahead, Soraya. Who's Soraya?
Oh, okay. Who's Soraya? Simply
Yeah.
Soraya. I'm Soraya Hashem. I graduated from the American University in Cairo. I majored in political economy and minored in psychology. However, when I graduated, I decided not to follow the political field and work instantly in marketing and communication because it was trending at the time, and it's not that easy to work in the Middle East in the political field. Let's be clear about that. So I
Okay.
decided to make an immediate shift and move to marketing and communications.
Okay.
Um, and then I decided I worked in a bank. It's called NGB Societe Generale. Then I went to PepsiCo, all of that in the marketing career, marketing communication. Went to Juhaina, went to Vodafone, handling the brand communications and the postpaid communications. And then I decided to go on my own to be a consultant, a brand
Mhm.
consultant, to follow my passion and to transfer knowledge and experience to those who actually need to understand what the brand is and what is personal branding is. So I decided to follow my passion.
Perfect. So all your experience related to international agencies or local in Egypt, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have like a cocktail
Yeah, but
experience and
I
from
was
different
always on the
industry.
client side, the corporate side, not the agency
Okay.
side.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So I have a couple of questions, and we will start with the basic one. Okay. When talking about what's the personal branding and what's the
Okay.
difference between personal branding and personal brand.
Okay, let's start by the basic from the basics. By the basics or so. What is a brand? The brand is like name, term, design, whatever identifies and differentiates your brand. So it's something that will help your product to be well identified and well differentiated in the market.
Mhm.
Let's move to personal branding. I'd love to easily define it as it's what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Okay.
It's what how people define you or speak about you when you're not in the room. Let's take it on in the formal direction. It's mainly the practice of marketing people and their careers as brands.
Okay.
Okay,
It
that's the main difference.
okay. Okay. It's same definition from Jeff Bezos when talking about brand. I think
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I,
That's
I
what he
think it's,
said.
yeah. I think it's like a become like a basic or like comment that everybody when talk about brand just recall the quote from Jeff Bezos, which is I think uh, it's practical and it's
Yeah,
reflect what they call it perspective and reputation.
exactly. It's
Oh.
mainly like a system that differentiates you from the crowd. How are you going to
Mm-hmm.
be differentiated? How are you
Yeah.
going to be positioned? And believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not, personal branding is way harder than branding a product.
Really? How?
Yes. I'll tell you how,
Mm-hmm.
because they both have the similar approach. They both
Okay.
communicate the mission and vision and what they stand for. However, and they have core values and you need to be consistent both sides. However, personal brand is you get to be more deeper. You have to get more deeper in understanding the person. It's more flexible and it changes as you change as a person. So sometimes you have difficulty in positioning a certain person in someone's mind, and then because that person changed, you need to change that positioning again. And it's mainly focused on personal life experiences,
Okay.
and that's double-edged.
I
And it
think,
mainly,
yeah.
yeah, it consists of mainly the perceptions, the qualities, the characteristics of people. So you get deeper. It's not only like a product that you need to identify and differentiate. No, you're actually dealing with a human. You're turning a human being into a brand. So if this human being changes, you have to actually communicate this change to the people.
Okay, let me rephrase a couple of questions. I already have it here, which is, for example, if you want to frame what's a personal branding, you already clarified that. But how can we, what they call it, take the branding framework and apply it to personal branding? That's number one. Which is, for example, as you said, we have to have like a vision, a mission, and values, core values, archetype, and all these things that related to brand. As a corporate, we have to apply it to person as a person. That's number one. Second, even after we apply that the personal characteristics, I think it's very, very, very difficult because in corporate you have like a team, you have like hierarchy, you have a structure, you have to follow. If I miss something, there's my colleague that remind me. But for personal branding, how individual can make sure the sustainability of communication if he's alone, of course, unless, for example, talking about the President of the United States, yes, he have his own personal branding.
They have their own, yes, they have their own cabinet,
yes, because they have their own team. But if we talk like individuals, how we can make that sustainability in our communication based on personal branding?
Oh, well, that's a tricky question. Consistency is the key. So if you're going to do it on your own, you have to put that keyword in your head and keep on pushing it. And you have to be very consistent in order for you to succeed, to help your positioning in the consumer's mind or the people's mind. You have to be very consistent. So that would be the only way to be successful in that manner. And it depends on the magnitude. How big are you going to get? If you can't do it alone, then hire a PR manager. It depends what's your mission, what's your vision. And accordingly, you're going to decide whether it's worth it to hire someone who's going to help you or you can handle it on your own. But the formula for success is consistency and being genuine along with being differentiated.
Why we need personal branding, Soraya?
Why do we need personal branding?
I mean, what's the objective for personal branding? Just for example, if I have like a small business, just an example, I'll give you an example. If I have my own business, okay, why I just depend in my business brand and branding to market and to create that exposure to attract more people to become like more loyal to my corporate branding instead of what they call switch off or overlap between corporate and personal branding. I mean, who's get benefit from personal branding?
You as a person. It positively impacts your business in terms of credibility and trust, because people trust people. People don't trust brands except they build the heritage and the credibility, but people trust people. So there's a massive issue with mistrusting corporates nowadays.
Perfect.
So it positively affects your business, it boosts your image, it builds your confidence and inspires your authenticity.
That's means, Soraya, you give us like an extra work we have to do. For all corporates, they don't have just to lay down or just to depend on their corporate brand. The brand for their business, they have to do their own personal branding to push for their corporate branding, right?
Yes, there's a quote that I really use and really respect and really feel familiar with when it comes to building a brand, a corporate brand. It was said, quoted by Charlotte Beers. She was, I think, the chief officer of Mimic Ogilvy, that you should earn the right to have a relationship with the consumer. So by this, if you earn that right, you have to respect the consumer. By respecting the consumer, you're going to have a relationship with them, and accordingly, the credibility, the trust, the respect, and so on and so forth. In personal branding, you have to be yourself. You have to be yourself. You have to be, I'll give you an example, Jafar. For example,
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga tried to be someone else, and she succeeded for a while. However, she could not continue being that person that she is not. And
Okay.
actually, when she became truthful to herself and to her audience, people liked her even more when the masks were off. So that's all. That's what I always recommend. It's like, be yourself. You'll have your crowd. Don't pretend to be someone else. How to be yourself? Understand yourself more. Do some
Okay.
self-analysis tests. They're online. Dig more about yourself, about who you really are. You must be very genuine, because people then will see you as a credible person, and then they will trust you. People, they're not stupid.
Right.
Their trust
Mm.
meter varies from one person to the other. However, they're very smart and they're very picky. And with the clutter of the viral influencers and stuff like that, people actually started losing credibility. So being genuine and being yourself, and being, of course, being consistent, will give you the right formula for a successful personal brand.
Perfect. Welcome to all new audience, my brother Hashim, and the rest of the audience. I think if we just to classify the type of branding now we have it in the market, we have like I call it mutual branding, which is, for example, Steve Jobs equal Apple. Okay, but who's behind Samsung? We don't know, but still Samsung is strong, presence in the market. We have the
Yes.
other one, which is the other example, Richard Branson with Virgin, just an example. Okay, Bill Gates with Microsoft. So we have that, head by head. When talking about Steve Jobs, you recall Apple, and same for the rest of a couple of brands. The other brands, they don't care about who's behind the brand. For example, Samsung or Toyota. Who's CEO of Toyota?
Different schools.
We don't know, right? And we don't
Yes.
have to know. So it's optional. And the other one, which is purely personal branding, especially for football players. Okay, we know Messi, but for me, I know Messi more than Messi belong to which club or to which.
Okay.
I don't know really. Okay, I care about Messi, Ronaldo, etc. And the other one, which is they create their own personal branding without conscious, such as Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Che Guevara. So they don't know, even they don't have that intention, to be their
Exactly.
personal brand,
And
but still
because
they
of that,
have that impact, right?
because they're genuine and they did not plan it, because they're being themselves.
So perfect. That's my second question. How we become genuine alongside with replanning to do a personal branding. For example,
I'd,
if talking about Mama Teresa or Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Che Guevara, all these big figures and leaders and real influencers in our thoughts and beliefs, as you said, something in their DNA, they're very genuine. For us as like as business owners, or for individuals, or for freelancers, or for CEOs, up or down, how we become like a genuine with a planning we have to follow to create our own personal branding. Is there like we can do that balance?
you can definitely. What Because all what you need is a self-evaluation, and to follow
Okay.
some steps in order to create this personal brand. For example, what I always recommend with is, like, again, doing like an online assessment, understanding more of yourself. And then you follow it
Okay.
by a 5Ws approach. What's a 5Ws approach? It's like the why, when, how, what, who, and how. And understanding who you are. Like questions, for example, who are you? Who will you be to influence your target audience? Who are you targeting?
Okay.
What motivates you? What brand experience will you be able to create? What will you offer? What are your
Okay.
traits, qualities, and skills? What interests are you fulfilling? Because you should fulfill a need, even as a personal
Yeah.
brand. What's your mission and vision? And then the differentiator, why would they select you? Why would they see you as different? You need to ask yourself this question 3 times. Why would
Okay.
they select you, and why are you different?
Yeah, there is like a quote or something from Hashem, and 100% agree with him as usual.
Mm-hmm.
He said that they all had a mission that connected with people's minds,
Mm-hmm.
which is what Simon Sinek said, that we have to bring values, a common values that people
Exactly.
believe in. So
Exactly, or else why would they follow you?
right. So we have to find first our values, which it will
Exactly.
be like a magnet that will attract
Exactly.
all peoples around you,
Oh,
and they
obvious.
feel, as you said, you will feel genuine, and they feel you are genuine. You are not like wearing a mask or pretending. No, no, no. This
Exactly.
Hashim as Hashim, Soraya as Soraya, Jafar as Jafar.
Exactly.
So without like pretending, which is because when you start pretending, خلاص,
Exactly.
there is
Mask
no
will
real
fall
connection.
eventually. Mask will fall eventually, and people are going to see your true self. And if it doesn't happen, they did not believe you're going to lose your personal brand forever. You should leave a
Perfect.
message, a consistent, differentiated message about who you are, so that people can speak about you when you're not in the room.
Okay, I have a lot
Communicate
of
your qualities, your traits.
uh, many questions coming to my head now, just before
Okay.
one by one.
All
For
right.
example, when talking about that big figures, they don't know even what a brand is, but they create that huge impact in our lives. Because, as Hashim said, because they have like values they believe in, and there's 100% sure most of them, if not all of them, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have even what they call personal assessment. You know,
All right. Yeah, yeah.
even before internet, for example, Mahatma Gandhi. So
Mm-hmm. But
how
Mahatma Gandhi worked for the purpose, not for the personal brand.
okay.
And that we can't use him as an example because this person worked for humanity. He did not
Mhm.
work for a certain media purpose. It just came on
Okay.
automatically like a positive ripple effect. He worked on a purpose. He met that
Mhm.
purpose, and accordingly, he got the media attention and grabbed the media attention about.
But we cannot say that Mahatma Gandhi have his own personal branding. Can
He
we say
has it,
that?
but he did not plan it.
Okay.
He
That's what
gained
I
it
said
because he worked
before.
for a
That's what I
purpose,
said before.
like
Yes.
Mother Teresa, like anyone who was Latin, like Che Guevara. These people,
Mhm.
they were working for the good of humanity or political field or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they gained it. It came as a positive ripple effect.
Okay.
But
So
others, like the current celebrities, they work for a personal brand. If you have, for example, if we can use Oprah Winfrey is
yes,
a
of course.
personal brand. Will Smith is a personal brand. Elon
Yes.
Musk is a personal brand.
Mhm. Perfect.
So these people
Yes.
have a plan.
Mm. Okay. If we go ahead with all that clutters we have to, as you say, we have to be a standout. But the main question is just before the question of how we can create own personal branding or
Mm-hmm.
personal brand. I will let you answer this question. But if there's no like overlap or maybe a risk to what they call it mix up between a personal branding and your corporate branding, especially when you link or when you hook your corporate brand, for example, as a business owner or as a company owner, with my personal branding. Maybe later on, I just quit from that company and go to somewhere else. How that affect in both? I mean, from
It's
personal branding affecting corporate and vice versa.
it's double-edged from my
Uh-huh.
point of view. Why? If you have like a successful brand that's been launched in the market that has the success and the heritage and everything, it will give you a positive impact on your personal brand. So it will
Mhm.
push you in the right direction. It will be the right build-up. But if it's not a successful brand, if it's not a popular brand, if it's not memorable, likable, and all of the parameters of brand measurements, then it will negatively affect your personal brand. So
For example, Soraya, people coming to you because of Soraya or because of your business as a business brand.
both, because of
Okay.
my expertise and for being Soraya. So it's a mix of both. And that's
Mm.
what I was exactly saying. My expertise in like the different corporates, be it PepsiCo, Vodafone, gave me the credibility. And when
Mhm.
actually people started seeing Soraya giving workshops and being a consultant, they believed in Soraya. And accordingly, the word of mouth started. That's a positive buildup. But for example, if
Okay.
I was working in something with a negative brand equity, like, well, I can't mention the brand, but like the
It's
Deepwater
okay.
Horizon crisis,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you will. have a negative ripple effect. People won't believe you because you don't come from place with a positive brand equity. So it depends
Okay.
on where you're coming from. You should be the one actually taking the decision whether you want to hook them up or not, or
So what's
link
your
them or not.
what's your advice for startup or entrepreneurs or a business for the business owners? They have to do their own personal branding. They have to. It's an optional or depend on the strategy. For example,
You said it.
some businesses they don't know. I mean, they don't care or it's not a priority. For example, the
Mm-hmm.
chairman he have to do his own personal branding
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. Maybe as you say, maybe part of their persona or maybe it's a strategy of the corporate don't mix
Mm-hmm.
up between corporate identity and your personal identity as like a personal branding. So for startup entrepreneurs or even for freelancers,
Mm-hmm.
what's your advice to them? They have to do their
Okay.
own personal branding alongside with their business branding.
Uh-huh. Well, I played with a totally different, from a totally different perspective and different angle.
Mhm.
They have to go through the 5 Ws exercise. And I can
Okay.
give them the questions now, each and every question. If they
Why?
don't
Why?
have
Why?
an answer,
Mhm.
if they don't have an answer to one of these questions, then they should actually reconsider doing the personal brand part, because personal brand is very risky.
Mhm.
You're turning a person, a human, into a brand, which has
Okay.
its success factors and pitfalls. So if you're not ready, don't do it. If you don't have
Okay.
something to offer, don't do it. Why would you do it? It will backfire at you. You should
Okay.
have like a mission. You should have a vision. You should answer who are you, who you really are, who will why are you going to influence your target audience? Why would they even follow you? Who are
Yeah.
you
What's your
targeting?
message? Yeah.
What are your traits and qualities? What interest need are you fulfilling? What's your mission and vision? If you don't have that planned,
Mhm.
then why would you go? Why would you go there?
Perfect. These questions is usually what they call it. Five whys, or there's something
Five
like
W's. Five
which is
W's.
why. Okay, five W. So we have
Why,
to add.
when, 5 W's and one H, which is the how.
Okay.
The
So
where, when, how, why, what.
what?
Yes.
Mhm. And for anybody that interested to create his own personal branding, he have to answer these questions.
Yes. And you have to
Plus,
be
he
very
have that
truthful to himself.
intention to, yeah, and he have his intention. It's not just about answering.
Yes.
It's a long journey, you know. It's not just
Exactly.
like a question and that's it.
Yes.
So, so if anybody want to start his own personal branding, number one, just recall. Number one, to have answer these five whys. That's one. Second, he have to be consistent in his communication.
Exactly.
Number three, and be conscious, very conscious about what he say, or his
Genuine.
body
Yes.
language. Yes, and become very genuine.
Yes.
Okay, so and for example, you sorry, do you have like two accounts? I mean, in social media, one for personal, one for corporate, and we have
Okay.
to do that.
No. No, I only
Okay,
have one. Now that I left corporates, I have one for my own business, the consultancy part, and one for my private life. I don't like both to overlap.
okay. So you usually
I
okay.
respect privacy. So work is work, life is life, private
Hmm.
life.
Okay.
I cherish my
So,
private life, so no.
so perfect. How we can build the personal branding as steps? What we have to do? For example,
Okay.
now I decide today, خلاص, I will go with Soraya as a consultant. Please just give me the guideline to build my personal branding. What I have to do?
Or you have to, first of all, we said it again, we said it, start with the 5 W's. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
Then you should build your own positioning, which is mainly describes how you as a person is different from other competitors or whomever in the
Okay.
field. All right.
Hmm.
And it's mainly how you want others to see you. So positioning is very important. Where do you want to sit in the consumer's mind as a person? That's based on the insights you get from the 5 W's exercise.
Okay.
So the brand positioning, it's extremely important because this is actually where you're going to plan almost all of your personal brand direction to be. It's the essence of who you are and how you have defined your personal brand. So
Based on your, yeah, okay, clear. So based on your experience, Soraya, uh, who's the majority that looking for personal branding in terms of their background. For example, chairmen, CEOs, or celebrities, or
A
just
mix of
individuals.
everyone.
Okay.
Given the fact that we're now everything is going viral and going digital, everyone had the courage somehow or have the courage somehow to step in and act as a personal brand, which has a positive effect and a negative effect of credibility. And but people are smart. People actually, the consumers or whoever we're going to call them, they're very smart and they're very picky. And now they actually can detect who is genuine and who's not genuine, who's real and who's not real.
Yeah, and especially with the new application, which is Clubhouse, which is
Yes.
make it like instantly, communication, and you can, for example, the other platform we can what they call it re-edit or what they call post production, but in Clubhouse there's no way till now.
Yeah.
Just live in this second I can engage with you. I can get what's your tone of voice, what's your mentality, how you can respond to me.
Exactly.
And by the way, sorry, before just a couple of days, I've been in one Clubhouse here in Bahrain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think 4 to 5 big influencers, without mentioning any names, in the room. Just listen to them. Some of them, they don't have that, mentality to answer the questions raised, which
Mm-hmm.
is that reflects, as you say, reflects their if they are genuine or not.
Exactly.
I think maybe they are a hero, maybe they are strong in other platform, but
Mm-hmm.
they are, I think, after this room, they don't show up again. you know,
Because
because
the mask have fell. The mask have
right,
fallen. So accordingly,
yeah,
people would get that no, you don't have what you're claiming. It's not real.
right. So now with all these challenges happening now, especially with COVID-19 and the curve down for all business all around the world, I
Mm-hmm.
think I think just correct me if I'm wrong. All right,
Mm-hmm.
we have to bring our humanity or our what they call human
Your,
touch again in our communication, as you
your
say,
purpose.
become yes, our purpose,
Yeah.
our human feeling to make things more genuine, as you say.
Yes.
Because if we just trigger that, that will create more credibility. If you have credibility, that you have trust. If you have trust, you have business. End of the
Thank you.
story. Business
Yes.
equal trust. Without trust, you can do anything. You cannot do anything, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what's your advice for example, just like for example, I will focus a little bit for freelancers, okay? Because we have a lot here
Mm-hmm.
in our region, and they want to build their own reputation based on their
Mm-hmm.
works, to base it in Behance and social media, but usually they just what they call it present themselves through their works, not
Mm-hmm.
through their own personal charisma or character, because at the
Could
end of
work
the day
both
just
ways, ya Jafar.
yeah,
Could work both
but
ways.
usually
It
what
depends
what,
if you
what you
have the
can
charisma or not.
yeah, but I mean usually it's just they base their works either animation or design, etc. They don't
It will be
show
an add-on.
yeah, they don't show up,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have that direct communication with their target audience, with their audience.
Mm-hmm.
So how they can step in and have that courage to show their work with their face, with their tone of voice, with their character, instead of just pasting and we are behind the scene.
I think they will need a personal brand coach because courage is not something that God granted for many people. They have to work on removing the barriers in order to be courageous and to be real and to be genuine and to start their actual brand. Because what I'm saying is, and um, not everyone should be a personal brand. If they don't
Mm-hmm.
define their target audience and understand their core emotions and messages and they're not consistent, they don't know how to do the job, there's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no need in actually getting a personal brand. Maybe having
Okay.
like a character or something would appeal to a certain target audience. We can't generalize that it won't work.
Right.
So
Right. So I just I figure out that you have like a post just to recall it again. What's the
yeah,
difference between personal branding and brand persona?
personal branding is turning you as a human being into a brand.
Perfect.
Brand personas is trying to turn a product into a living person. So they're totally different. It's
Okay.
mainly this by actually humanizing a brand. It makes it's always with the objective of getting closer to your target audience. But if you're a human and turning into a personal brand, you're actually defined already. Are you getting the
Perfect.
point?
Yes, yes. Perfect.
You have an edge.
No, it's clear. It's clear.
Yeah.
Just another question, Soraya. In our MENA
Yes.
region, is there like a special like agency or I don't know consultancy that have that what they call it mature enough to create a personal branding for individuals here in our region?
I think it still falls under the PR responsibilities. Um, and that I did not, to be quite honest, I'm still struggling with the fact that in our MENA region, people don't actually understand the brand and they always jump into the emotional part, which is branding. So we still have a
Yeah.
very long way to go. People don't get actually the brand purpose, the brand vision, the mission, the persona. They actually jump into على طول into branding, which is not right. So about the personal branding, it's a PR job. So
Okay.
it lies within the PR agencies.
So
But
yeah, no,
the
you
tricky
bring
part is
you
the
bring
tricky
a very
part is
interesting.
they mask sometimes they mask you. They add a
Uh-huh.
mask to you and remove the genuine part because in order for you, they see it from their school of thought that in order for you to succeed, you have to do this and this and that. However, if you want to be a personal brand, successful personal brand, my personal advice to you that you
Yeah.
should be genuine so that you can continue being like that, not like the example we used Lady Gaga. She was stuck in a certain ambiance and she never belonged to it. But at a certain point of time, she said, I can't do that anymore.
Okay. So you raised, I think, very crucial issue, which is the mix-up between a PR agency and a personal branding consultant. Okay,
Mhm.
because most of what we have in our region is purely PR. We're talking
Yes.
with some figures in our GCC country or in general MENA region. They work based in the PR, nothing related to a person. For example, in the United States, as you said, for a president or for that big corporate companies, the CEOs, they have their own team, they have their
Mhm.
own consultant, they have that, what they call it, the knowledge based in their education system. I mean,
Mm.
education system not related to, of course, the university. Education system related to firms and publicity and talks, events, seminars, webinars, etc., etc. I think what we're missing here, Soraya, is how can we create that knowledge and we can deliver it to our audience because the absent of the education, and that's
But
coming from university, coming from firms, etc., etc. What do you think?
well, actually, uh, no, I'll tell you. It's my opportunity here, and I think it's your opportunity too. For example, I give a total full personal branding workshop so that when you sit with any agency, you know exactly what you should ask them. You know how to guide them. Don't ever let the agency guide you. You're the brand now. You should guide the agency. And I have it in a very simple formula. A statement that each and every person that actually wants a personal brand should answer or complete it, and accordingly, everything will follow, which is I help, target market should be defined between brackets, with which skill or quality so that they can achieve which result. Again, I help, which target market, with which skill or quality that I can provide as a personal brand so that they can achieve which result.
Okay.
If I can't complete this question or this sentence, there's
Statement, yeah?
absolutely, this statement, there's no need to continue because I don't know who's my target audience. I don't know
Objective?
my objective. What's my skill or quality that I'm going, or the need I'm catering to as a personal brand, and how am I going to help people?
Yeah, which is
What
adding value.
exactly? Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
So we have 4 points, which is objective, target audience, skills, and adding values. If you don't know none of them, thank you. So, okay. So I think
Yes.
we have
And
the
you should have, I
question.
can
Yeah,
add to you, please, the
sure, sure.
components of having a personal brand or personal brand positioning statement, the
Mm-hmm.
target audience, the market definition or category, the key differences, the benefits about you, your mission,
Benefits,
your vision, your brand purpose, your brand promise, and experience, which is the reasons to believe in the case of personal brand.
which is the credibility. Yes. Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a question, I think. I don't want wait to till the last
No,
minute.
no, no,
If
it's fine.
anybody have question, please go ahead. Question, how can, because it's a little bit with the lights, it's very difficult for me. How can
No,
you
no, I can
maintain
read it
and
then.
okay, please read it because it's very
Okay,
difficult
that's
for me.
hello, Jerry. Jerry is an old friend of mine. How can you
Okay,
maintain an authentic personal brand although we present ourselves differently across the various social media channels?
okay.
Okay, as simple as stay authentic. It's your key to success. If you're actually, Jerry, not consistent, people won't believe you somehow. If you're having a different persona in each and every channel, for example, if we're speaking about
All
LinkedIn,
right.
LinkedIn, you should be professional. But for example, when you see Soraya on social media, on Facebook or on Instagram or LinkedIn, I try to be myself across all, the authentic Soraya across all. So that would give you the edge of consistency, unless you want to take your private life away from it. For example, I have a personal account for my trips and all. None of my professional, I'm not aiming at to be a personal brand. So none of my work, my customers or whomever can actually have access to my private life, the personal brand. So I decided that I don't want a personal brand. However, I'm genuine all across my channels and above all, consistent. That's how I'm going to push the message to the consumer, in the consumer's mind, that actually Soraya is 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if I turn into a personal brand, which is something I'm not targeting, when they see that there's a consistent message across, it will come top of mind for them when they think of
And
Soraya as a personal brand.
perfect. Do you advise Soraya, for example, if somebody have his own what they call it, LinkedIn or professional network presence, and he have his own Instagram account, we have to mix it up? Or for example, can he do it like in a private account instead of public? Because for me as an audience, when go to Soraya's and LinkedIn, I see Soraya as a professional in her work, and go directly to, for example, to an Instagram account and say public and something, very personal. It's not affects sometimes, in the image of Soraya for me.
Your answer will be in the first thing that I communicated, the 5 Ws. When you identify your target audience and you know where to find them, you're going to reach them through these consistent messages. Are you getting my
because
point?
some of just follow from United States, they in the LinkedIn they are very professional, and even in Instagram, even if for example take some personal trips, so they link LinkedIn to a business by, for example, a quote or maybe by tips. It's like a personal things, but still there's consistent between their presence in LinkedIn and in Instagram. Others, no. For example, it's like totally different,
Because
you
they
know.
know where to find their target audience. That's what I'm trying to say. They well identified their 5 Ws. So they know where the people they're targeting were going to be active on. For example, they're much more active on Facebook other than Instagram. Then accordingly, my presence on Facebook will be much more than what I'm planned for Instagram. It depends on, you're becoming a brand. You have customers. The
Okay.
customers, you want to reach the customers. So depending on the customers or the consumers' usage and attitude, you'll be building your personal brand plan.
Yeah, but still, I have like a debate issue about this, because at the end of the day, we're talking about social media is open for everybody. So I cannot make sure, for example, okay, my main target audience in LinkedIn, okay, I will become more professional in LinkedIn. Whereas when I go to Instagram, I'll just paste anything that personal for me. But I cannot make sure. I can't guarantee. Maybe some of target audience in LinkedIn, they come up and see my personal Instagram, which does not reflect that professionalism that I want to send like in a message or to reflect my persona. So I don't think so. We have to make sure 100% that all my target audience will be in one platform, especially with the open
they will
space.
never
Right.
be in one. They will never be in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to understand their usage and attitude and what they're expecting from you after answering the phrase, what need are you fulfilling for them? And accordingly, you're going to play it smart and cater it depending on the communication channel. You can be that formal or professional on Facebook, yet you can be professional on LinkedIn. So they can see Jaafar when he's professional, Jaafar when he's being the personal brand that he wants to be.
Yeah, but still should be consistent, not in terms of the content, in terms of the persona, I mean. I will give you an example.
Jaafar is Jaafar, whatever.
Yes, even if, for example, like playing with my kids, yes, his charisma as it is. It's not change. Okay? Still is a personal things, but there's what they call it like a common lines between, my presence in LinkedIn, my presence Twitter, my presence in Clubhouse, even if there's something personal. That I think the main issue we have to be considered, especially for the personal branding, because some says, no, خلاص, this is my Instagram, I put everything. But in LinkedIn, I will put something professional. No, it's not. I don't think so. It's worth like this, right?
You can play it even professional depending on your brand tonality, your personal brand tonality. So it depends on actually who are you targeting again and what are they looking for, and you're going to provide it in whichever context that will be liked by them, because you need to be, in order to be a successful personal brand, you need to be memorable, meaningful, and likable.
Right. So for a personal branding, one of the main pillars that we have to tackle, which is content. Content as a visual, as a text, audio, video, whatever. How we can make sure that we are consistent, which is one of the issues I want just to raise. How you make sure that we are consistent and keep the quality level, okay, and without compromise about our commitment and time to, for example, to do what they call consistent post. I'll give you an example. Every week I have to put, for example, three to four posts in Instagram. Just an example. This the commitment will create consistency. Okay, these 3 to 4 posts per week should be in the same level of quality and professionalism, which reflect my persona. How I can make sure? That's my question. How I can make sure consistency is not affecting quality?
Both complete each other. I don't think they will ever go against each other, because I come from the school of thought, if you're not sure of your content, just don't publish it, because it's going to affect your overall image. So
Perfect.
if you just want to be consistent, but the quality is going to get negatively affected, then definitely don't do it. Post twice per week, once per
100% I agree with you. So
because
consistency not mean quality. Quantity. Sorry. Consistency
it
not
mean never means
quantity.
No,
Okay.
No, never. But again, I'll give you some tips for the branding part of the personal brand. What you should have. You should have, of course, a picture. And this picture should relate to capturing the real authentic you.
Okay.
If you're talking to teens and you're going to want to be their personal branding is appealing to teens, you can't wear formal outfits or formal attire. It won't even link with them.
Right.
You have to have a logo by your name even. Okay? Create something that communicates your message visually and something that actually really represents you.
Okay, let me stop in this, especially for the logo.
Yeah.
We have a lot of what they call it personal branding figures. They don't have their own logo. For example, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. For example, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Richard Branson. They don't have their own logo, unless for Oprah. Yes, Oprah, she have his own. But what about the others?
There are schools. What I'm saying now is the perfect kit for personal brand.
Okay.
The nice to have and the must haves.
Okay.
What I'd recommend is having a logo. Others might see that it's not important, but all opinions are accepted, the different perspectives. But I tend to think that the logo empowers you even more. It gives you that extra
Yeah, it's more
expressive
visual.
quality.
Yes, more
Yes.
iconic contact.
Yes.
Okay. So we have, I think,
Or
question. What do you think? What do you think is a common mistake that most people do nowadays
now,
as they build their personal brand? Okay. Nowadays.
not
Okay.
being authentic, not being genuine, and not being consistent. Formula for failure. And not answering your genuine
Say it
question.
again. Say
Not
it again. Sorry.
not being genuine, not being authentic,
Mm-hmm.
not answering to a need, and not being consistent. And to make it very clear, not answering the question that I've mentioned before, which is the skills and about the need and about the target audience.
Okay. Perfect. So now your advice for anybody like listening to us now, he or she want to build his or start a personal branding, go direct to personal brand consultant, or there's like another way, for example, or they have to go for a personal branding consultant. I mean, there's
I'd
like
recommend
a
that,
for. Mm-hmm.
but I'd actually recommend even more, take a personal branding workshop. Not, I give
Okay.
this workshop, but you can select whomever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Take this workshop so that you understand, even when you're speaking with the consultant, where to
Yes.
go and what's in your head. Because unfortunately, there are many consultants, they're not that, how can I say it? They're not that actually, they're commercial. Let's say it commercial. So they'll
Okay.
be, the longer you'll engage the consultancy session, the more profit you gain. So what I would recommend,
Mm-hmm.
take a workshop, understand what is personal branding, what are the attributes, what are the components, what
Yes.
the successful factors, so that
Yes,
you
at
can
least.
actually have a proper
Perfect.
conversation, head-to-head
Mm-hmm.
conversation with your consultant
Perfect.
or with your agency.
So at
That's
least
what.
we have, at least we have to digest what's the personal branding first. After that, after we get that all the basic information,
Take all the tips
yes, we
and
can go
tricks.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, tips and
Take all
tricks.
the tips
Perfect.
and tricks in order to understand, so that even when you sit with a personal brand agency or a consultant, you know a background. You did your homework. Don't just rely fully on someone to help you with your personal brand or even with your brand. Know the tips and tricks. Know what's the personal brand, the success factors, so that even when you're having a consultant, you have a proper constructive conversation, not a one-sided conversation from the consultant that you should be doing this or that.
Yes.
No, it needs to be like tete-a-tete, head-to-head.
So, okay, perfect. So, my last question is, if there's a question, please, from audience, please go ahead. My last question. If I have my own business, okay, as an entrepreneur or a startup, I have my own website for my business, social media accounts for my business. So I have to do alongside with that my personal website, my personal social media accounts, right?
Come again, no, I lost you.
Okay, I will say it again. If I
Yes.
have my own business, okay, I have my own company.
Mm-hmm.
I have a website for my company. I have accounts in social media for my company. I have to do the same thing for my personal branding. So that's me as a business owner. I have to deal with two brands: my personal brand and my corporate brand, and we should be all consistent. So I have to, playing two hands
Yes.
here.
Yes,
Okay, right?
but well, first of all, jump a step backward.
Yes.
Prioritize what you actually really want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And I want to give you an example before we leave. Please, please, please think of these three examples when you think of personal brand. They are my favorable and favorite personal brands. Read their stories, see how they actually build their personal brand. It will be Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, I'm very fond of him, and Will Smith.
Oh, Will
They
Smith.
have all,
Okay.
yes, Will
Okay.
Smith, because their story, like, for example, Will Smith became an extremely liked celebrity due to his personal branding that relies on inspiration, words, and witty
Right.
quotes. People like the witty part of witty direction of Will Smith.
Perfect.
And he turned himself into a really trustworthy man. This is how people see him.
And
So,
do you think Will Smith he have his own for example, group or agency for his personal brand presence?
I don't have an answer to that question, but I think
Okay.
yes. But he started
Okay.
his stories, his real life stories, and how genuine he is, paved the road maybe for having like a personal brand that needs an agency and so on and so forth.
Perfect. So we have a question here. How can someone connect with you? Of course, you can connect directly with Soraya by his by her account directly.
Yes.
And that inshallah Soraya will be part of an upcoming event in July. I think it will be Brand and Design Forum. We did it before last year, and we will do it this year, talking about especially about personal branding. We have another last question, I think. As a graphic design freelancer, what you would recommend to put a logo as a profile picture or my personal pictures? What do you think, Soraya?
It depends on the target audience. Never ask that question. Just ask yourself, what would my target audience want to see? A picture of me or a picture of my designs? Because each and every target audience is different.
Yeah, as a graphic designer.
What's going to sell? What's going to sell? Your designs, right?
Right.
Think about it that way. From your perspective, from the selling point, but at the end of the day, we need to earn money. So would your picture add-on would be a good add-on or your actual logo?
Yes, at the end of the day, she's selling like a design and creativity. Why I have to put my personal picture instead of showing my professional manner and the logo itself? At the end of the day, I said I'm doing logo, I'm doing graphic design. Why I have to put my personal?
Exactly.
You know, unless
question that.
Yeah, yes.
People would actually question that. So it's like, if you're selling designs, why am I seeing your photo? People are very smart. You have to really put that into consideration. You have to earn the relationship with this consumer or this customer.
Yeah.
Never underestimate their intelligence.
I think, Saraya, we have another live Instagram with Mr. James from UK, and he have like a not double logo. He have his own logo, like a typeface, but between time and time, he use his own face as like a vector, you know, to link between his target audience with his face, with the logo pair, you know.
So I'm
between
not a
time and
designer,
time,
so
but the what they call the official brand identity for him is a typeface. And I agree with you, because at the end of the day, I'm selling design, so why I have to put my face?
And it depends again your target audience, and maybe his target. He will, of course, before jumping into that conclusion, he studied his target audience. Maybe they like that.
Perfect. Or even he's like a famous among his target audience, well known with his look, a unique look, and you know the appearance. Maybe that his, as you said, his unique selling point as a visual identity. Maybe he can utilize it, you know. So it depends. I agree with you. It depends on your target audience. What's your message? What's your what they call it? You want to trace or to leave behind. Of course, after you position yourself, how you can reflect that positioning in your brand identity. Okay, I think we have a question, but I don't think so it's related. But if you want to answer it before we close, what is the color effect in logo? Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not a designer, so I can't say that. But
so
before going, I'm going to give you the final do's and don'ts for the personal brand.
Please.
First of all, I'll start with the do's. You need to be authentic. You need to identify your target audience. You need to create the relevancy factors. You need to determine your competitive advantage. You need to develop, and that was answering your question, relevant content strategy.
Perfect.
Don't over communicate. Don't be argumentative. Don't be too compliant either. And don't be inconsistent. So that's my tips and tricks for the personal.
That's tips and tricks in upcoming workshop, I think, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Soraya, for your time, and
thank you,
really, you're adding value to all our audience and even to me. And inshallah, we'll see you very soon. either in workshop
Inshallah.
or an event or another live on Instagram if there is like a need for that, of course.
All right.
Thank you, Soraya. And for all the
Thank you.
audience, please go and follow Soraya here on Instagram. And especially her account with full of content that really useful for all of us. Thank you, Soraya.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Jaafar.
you.
Have a great day,
And
everybody.
thank you, Hashem. Thank you for everybody who's asking and attend. Thank you.
All
See
right.
you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.